Comparison is the silent killer. It doesn't stab you all at once. It bleeds you slowly. Every single day, while you scroll through Instagram, while you stalk your favorite influencer, while you compare yourself with classmates, colleagues, or even strangers, a piece of your own potential dies. And the saddest part? You don't even notice. You think you're motivating yourself by watching them. You think you're getting inspired? No, you're poisoning yourself. Drop by drop. Listen carefully, because today I'm going to rip apart this illusion you've built. Today, I'm going to tell you exactly why comparison is killing your growth, and how you can become so powerful, so untouchable, that you become the standard, the reference, the benchmark, the one others compare themselves to. But warning, this won't be soft, sugar-coated, positive vibes only advice. This will sting. This will burn. Because reality isn't pretty. But if you let these words sink into your veins, you'll walk away dangerous, untouchable. You know what's funny? Most people never even live their own life. They live a recycled version of someone else's. They copy the way someone else dresses. They chase the same careers because someone else is doing well in it. They even start believing in things just because the crowd does. And then one day, they wake up at 30, 40, 50, completely empty inside, realizing they were nothing but a shadow. Comparison has destroyed more dreams than failure ever did. Because failure at least teaches you something. Comparison? It traps you in a prison where your mind is constantly screaming, "You're not good enough?" Look at them. Look at their success. Look at their progress. Look at their life. Why are you so behind? But here's the toxic truth nobody wants to say out loud. You are behind. You are lazy. You are distracted. And comparison exposes that. It hurts because deep inside, you already know you're not putting in the work. That pain you feel when you look at someone better than you, it's not jealousy. It's guilt. Guilt that you could have been further ahead if only you stopped scrolling and started building. But instead, you waste hours consuming people who already made it, while you rot in the same spot. Think about it. Every time you compare, you're basically saying, "I'm not enough unless I measure up to them." Do you realize how pathetic that is? You're literally giving strangers, people who don't even know your name, the power to decide how worthy you feel about yourself. It's like chaining your self-respect to someone else's achievements. And here's where it gets dark. No matter how hard you try, you'll never win that game. Because there's always someone richer, smarter, prettier, more talented, more successful, always. So congratulations. By playing the comparison game, you've chosen a race that has no finish line. You'll run yourself into the ground, gasping, burning, hating yourself, and still never arrive.
Stop lying to yourself. You don't want inspiration. You want an excuse to stay average while pretending you're motivated. Because real inspiration isn't scrolling reels. It's not watching someone else's highlight reel. Real inspiration is when you stand in front of the mirror and get disgusted with your own reflection. Disgusted enough to finally do something. You can't become great by worshipping greatness. You only become great by bleeding for it, by obsessing for it, by turning your envy into fire. And let me spit some poison right here. If you're spending more time comparing yourself to others than building yourself, you deserve to stay stuck. Yes, you heard me. You deserve the pain, because pain is the tax you pay for your own cowardice. Now here's the good news. You don't have to stay a slave to comparison. You can flip it. You can weaponize it. Instead of letting it crush you, let it sharpen you. Every time you feel jealousy, instead of crying about it, translate it into energy, into hunger, into rage. Because comparison is only poison if you swallow it. But if you learn to spit it out and use it as fuel, it becomes the most powerful motivator in the world. Look at the people you envy, and instead of saying, "I wish I was them," start saying, "They're proof it can be done. They're proof I have no excuse. They're proof that greatness is real, and it's waiting for me if I bleed hard enough." Do you understand how powerful that switch is? Suddenly, comparison stops being a chain and starts being a weapon. But only if you're ruthless enough to stop admiring and start competing. So, let me ask you something. How long are you going to keep wasting your life measuring yourself against others? How long will you scroll, complain, cry, while your own potential rots away? How much longer will you remain addicted to watching instead of creating, comparing instead of conquering? Because here's the ugly truth. Until you decide to become the standard, you'll always live like a shadow. In the next part, I'll rip apart the mindset that keeps you stuck in comparison and show you how to build an identity so strong that you become the one others watch, others envy, others compare themselves to. Stay locked in, because now it's about to get even darker.
Comparison is not just a bad habit, it's a cage. And the scariest part? You built it yourself. Every time you looked at someone else's progress and said, "Why not me?" but did nothing about it. Another bar locked around you. Do you realize you're living in a prison that doesn't even have a guard? The door is wide open, but you never walk out. Why? Because you love your chains. You love the fake comfort of feeling like a victim. It's easier to blame others for being ahead than to admit you wasted your own time. Comparison is self-sabotage in disguise. It doesn't just kill your growth. It rots your confidence, it murders your originality, and it makes you addicted to pity. And the worst part? You actually enjoy it. Oh yes, you enjoy stalking their success. You enjoy the pain of feeling small, because deep down it allows you to say, "See? I was never meant for greatness anyway." It gives you an excuse to stay average. It allows you to stay weak while pretending you're unlucky. But truth bomb, you're not unlucky. You're just lazy. You think social media is a platform for connection? Wrong. It's a mirror house designed to destroy your self-worth. Every scroll, every post, every story is engineered to make you feel inadequate. And like an addict, you keep going back, hungry for your next hit of insecurity. You see a millionaire at 22, and suddenly you feel like a failure at 25. You see a ripped gym model, and suddenly your body feels worthless. You see perfect relationships, and suddenly you question your own. But here's the thing, you're comparing your raw, behind the scenes with someone else's carefully filtered highlight reel. It's not even a fair fight. You're not comparing reality, you're comparing illusions. Yet you still let illusions dictate your value. Do you understand how pathetic that is? You don't even know their struggles, their sacrifices, their pain. You only see the surface, and then you crush yourself under it. Well, let me put this in toxic clarity. Social media didn't kill your growth. You did, because you chose to consume instead of create. You chose to admire instead of act. You chose to scroll instead of build. You didn't lose because they were better. You lost because you never entered the game. Let me describe your daily cycle. You wake up, grab your phone, and start scrolling. You see someone successful, you feel insecure. You promise yourself, "I'll change. I'll work harder." Then you scroll some more, get distracted, waste hours, and by night you're guilty, anxious, and depressed. Then you repeat it the next day. Tell me, is this not insanity? And still, you dare to ask, why am I not growing? You're not growing because you're too busy watering someone else's tree instead of planting your own. Comparison has made you an unpaid employee of other people's success. You're giving them free energy, free attention, free worship. Meanwhile, your own potential starves and dies.
And let me be brutally honest. If you keep living like this, you deserve mediocrity, because growth is not a right it's earned, and you haven't earned anything yet. You want to know the cure to comparison? Stand in front of the mirror, look yourself dead in the eyes, and instead of asking, "Why aren't I like them?" ask, "Why am I not better than who I was yesterday?" That's the only comparison that matters. Not with your friends, not with your idols, not with strangers online, with yourself. Because if you wake up every day and your only goal is to be 1% better than the version of you from yesterday, then in a year, you will be unrecognizable. And here's the magic. Once you start comparing only with yourself, everyone else automatically starts comparing with you. That's how you flip the game. You stop chasing shadows. You become the shadow others chase. So here's your reality check. Comparison is the slowest, most silent suicide you can commit. And every day you keep doing it, you're digging your own grave. But if you're ruthless enough to break out of the cycle, if you're angry enough to stop being a victim, then comparison can become your sharpest weapon. In the next part, I'll show you exactly how to flip comparison into power, how to turn envy into fuel, how to channel insecurity into fire, and how to build an identity so powerful that you become the standard everyone else fears and envies. So the question is, are you ready to stop dying as a shadow and start living as the standard?
Proof that the mountain is climbable. Proof that greatness is possible. Proof that excuses are lies. Weak people let comparison break them. Strong people let comparison awaken them. Envy is a dark, ugly feeling. Nobody likes to admit they're jealous. But do you realize envy is one of the most powerful motivators in the world? Think about it, jealousy is nothing but a spotlight. It shows you what you secretly crave. You're jealous of the millionaire? That's your hidden desire for wealth. You're jealous of the fit body? That's your buried hunger for discipline. You're jealous of the confident speaker? That's your soul begging to be heard. Envy is not the problem. Your weakness in handling envy is the problem. Most people use envy to destroy themselves. Winners use envy to identify their destiny. The next time jealousy burns you, don't drown in it, translate it. Ask yourself, what is this jealousy trying to teach me about what I truly want? And once you have the answer, bleed for it, grind for it, obsess over it, until one day, you become the one others envy. Here's another toxic truth. You will never rise while you keep worshiping others. You can respect greatness, you can learn from it, but the moment you put someone on a pedestal so high that you feel small in front of them, you've already lost. Why? Because you can't rise while you're bowing. You look at them as gods and yourself as nothing. And guess what? The brain believes what you repeat. If you keep saying, they're better, they're untouchable, they're special, your brain will hardwire that lie into your DNA. But here's the savage truth. They're not special. They're not gods. They're humans who bled for their dreams while you scrolled your phone. The only difference between you and them is discipline. And discipline isn't a gift, it's a choice. So stop worshiping. Stop bowing. Stop admiring. Start competing. Because the moment you shift from worshiper to warrior, you flip from victim to predator. Everyone says, kill your ego. No, kill arrogance. Yes, kill pride, yes, but never kill ego. Because ego, when used right, is the fire that refuses to settle for less. Ego is the voice that says, why should I compare myself to them? Why should I be beneath them? I can be the one others compare to without ego. You stay a slave with ego. You crave dominance, and dominance is what creates standards. Standards aren't made by the humble. They're made by the obsessed, the unapologetic, the ego-driven warriors who said, I will not copy the standard. I will become the standard. And let me make this brutally clear. The world doesn't remember imitators, it remembers standards. The first, the originals, the untouchables, the ones everyone else chased, but never caught. Because ego, when used right, is the fire that refuses to settle for less. Ego is the voice that says, why should I compare myself to them? Why should I be beneath them? I can be the one others compare to. Standards aren't made by the humble. They're made by the obsessed, the unapologetic, the ego-driven warriors who said, I will not copy the standard. I will become the standard. And let me make this brutally clear. The world doesn't remember imitators. It remembers standards. The first, the originals, the untouchables, the ones everyone else chased but never caught. So how do you know when comparison has flipped from poison to power? It's when you stop feeling small and start feeling challenged. It's when you stop saying I wish and start saying I will. It's when seeing someone better doesn't crush you, it awakens you. Because that's the moment you realize the truth. They're not your competition. Your only competition is the weaker version of you that refuses to die. That version, the lazy, insecure, distracted, excuse-making version needs to be killed. Every day. And comparison, when weaponized, is the knife. So here's where we stand. Comparison can either bury you or build you. If you stay weak, it's poison. If you grow ruthless, it's fuel. Now the question is, are you ready to stop envying and start conquering? Are you ready to stop bowing and start building? Are you ready to stop following standards and finally become one? Because in the next part, we go even deeper. I'll break down the exact steps to transform yourself into the standard, the benchmark others chase, the shadow others fear, the name others can't ignore. This is where we stop talking about the problem and start creating the solution. The process of becoming untouchable begins now. You've heard the poison, you've felt the sting. Now it's time for the cure. Because growth doesn't come from crying about comparison. It comes from building an identity so powerful, so unshakable, that you become the reference point. So here it is. The raw, ruthless process of becoming the standard. Step 1. Silence the noise. The first enemy is distraction. Every scroll, every notification, every meaningless voice is stealing your focus. Unfollow, mute, block, cut. Not because you're weak, because you're strategic. Why do lions hunt best alone? Because the herd makes them weak. Your herd, your feed, your circle, your fake friends, they keep you average. Silence the noise, and suddenly the battlefield clears. Now you can see your own path? Step 2. Build in darkness. Everyone wants claps. Everyone wants to show progress. But applause doesn't build empires. Sweat does. Stop showing off the grind. Stop begging for validation. Work in silence until your results scream so loud the world cannot ignore you. The difference between amateurs and killers? Amateurs want to be seen working. Killers want to be seen winning. So vanish, disappear, become a ghost. And when you reappear, make sure you're unrecognizable.
Step 3. Ruthless discipline. This is the graveyard where most people die. They start with passion. They burn bright for a week. And then they fade back into mediocrity. Discipline isn't exciting. It's boring. It's painful. It's lonely. But it's also the only way to carve yourself into a standard. You want to know the difference between you and the people you compare yourself to. It's not talent. It's not luck. It's the hours they bled in silence when nobody was watching. You can have all the motivation in the world, but without discipline, you're a spark that dies in the wind. So kill the excuses, kill the laziness, kill the softness, and replace it with an iron discipline so cold, so consistent, so relentless, that nothing can stop it. Step 4. The identity shift. This is the most dangerous step, because once you shift your identity, you can never go back. Stop saying, I want to be like them. Start saying, I am the one others want to be like. Say it until your brain believes it. Then act on it until the world believes it too. You are no longer a shadow. You are no longer a follower. You are the sun, the source, the original, the one others orbit around. When your identity shifts from chaser to standard, you stop running, and others start chasing you. Step 5. Embrace envy. When you finally rise, the world won't clap. It will envy, and that's the proof you've arrived. Do not run from envy. Do not hide from hate. Let them compare. Let them gossip. Let them choke on their jealousy, because their envy is your crown. The same poison that once killed you is now killing your competition. You've become the benchmark. You become the reference. You've become the name they whisper about in fear and in envy. That is the moment you stop living as a shadow and start living as the standard. The price of becoming the standard. Understand this. Becoming the standard is not free. It costs everything. It costs comfort. It costs fake friends. It costs lazy nights and wasted weekends. It costs being misunderstood, judged, and even hated. But the price is worth it, because once you pay it, you gain something priceless: freedom. The freedom to live without comparison. The freedom to wake up every day knowing you are the one we measure against. The freedom of becoming untouchable. And trust me, that freedom tastes better than any cheap dopamine hit social media ever gave you. You want a sugar-coated ending. You won't get it. Here's the final toxic truth. Most people will die as shadows. They'll spend their entire lives comparing, complaining, crying, and then one day, they'll disappear into nothingness, forgotten, irrelevant. And the reason, they never had the guts to rise. They never had the guts to break the cycle. They never had the guts to pay the price of becoming the standard. So the question is, will you be like them? Or will you bleed, sacrifice, grind, and claw your way out of comparison's cage, until you become the monster others fear to compare themselves with? You can stay addicted to scrolling, or you can become the reason others scroll. You can keep worshipping, or you can become the one they worship. Die a shadow, or become the standard. Comparison is either your coffin or your crown. If you stay weak, it will bury you. If you grow ruthless, it will crown you. The choice is yours.